Hi, my name is Jorge Molina, and I'm the missions pastor to Christ Fellowship, located in sunny Miami, and I'm also a campus pastor at one of our venues. I went to school and I graduated with a social studies degree in 1999. I was hired to teach middle school history, Bible, and Spanish, and as you can tell, this was a Christian school. The school was affiliated with the church, and as I began to attend church, I saw a need in our young adults department to sing worship. We would have an extended amount of time just to talk and chill, and then we would begin our Bible study. I just felt it would be good if we would sing some worship songs before our Bible study to prepare our hearts. Since it was the norm in college, or else you just weren't cool enough, I had taken up the guitar and learned about 3 to 5 songs on the guitar. So at least I would somehow rotate these songs and get creative and try to learn some new ones. I began to lead worship, and then slowly God began to develop me to lead His people. After doing this for a few months, I was asked to take on more of a lead role. I was asked to lead the young adults department as an interim director. I honestly had no idea what this entailed. I don't even remember asking for a job description. I was just excited for the opportunity that was being given to me. Over half of the young adults were older than me, and looking back at that time, there were much smarter people who would have done a better job than I. But it was me that was being asked to do this, and I led the ministry, and after a year, I was asked if I would be interested in coming full-time with the church. This time in leading the students, in which, I was very excited about doing this. I began leading the student ministry, and it was during this time period that I began to feel a little overwhelmed. It was in this place that I realized that ministry was, in a way, a lot different than I thought. The feelings of inadequacy came into my life, and this all started when I took my focus off His work and began to focus on my work. I began to compare ministry that God had given me the stewardship of to others who, by the standards or metrics of not God, made me feel as if I wasn't good enough. Well, my friends that were student pastors had cool written visions. Not only that, but they even had these really cool diagrams that explained it, and I started to think, what have I done to myself? I've gotten myself into something I was not prepared for. I began to sink in the pool of despair, discouragement. It was here also that I began to question myself. I was working in an environment that needed me to be confident, and it was expected of me to be strong. So it was here that the inner battle began to manifest itself, that I began to ask, am I the right person for this job? Am I really going to make a difference? And it was here also that God sent a message to me that changed my life. I don't really believe this person really knew what he had done that day, but isn't this the way God works? He sends encouragement through the least likely people, whether it's my 6-year-old daughter, or maybe the person that gets under your skin, or the lady on the other side of the counter. In this case, it was one of my bosses. My office was down the hallway from his, and as I was coming into my office, my boss, who always kidded around with me, yelled down in the hall and said, "Jorge, you are a perfect example of how God uses the foolish things of this world to confound the wise." So immediately my response was just to laugh and just kind of like shrug it off, but it wasn't until I sat down at my desk that I realized the aha moment in this statement. And this was the start of my journey of accepting my inadequacy. This was the start of me accepting that I wasn't good enough. So today I want to share with you simple lessons of the journey I am in. It's a humble heart. Humility is what God expects from us. It is in this place, in this state of our life that God asks us to be at. God is not interested in what is in here, but where this is. When I humble myself, I begin to feel a sense of gratitude. The picture I like to put in my mind is the one of the prodigal son who is coming home. He's ready to do whatever his father asks him to do. He's willing to scrub the toilets, or if his father wants him to do whatever. He does not come with a list of expectations, but with a heart that has been broken and humble. But why is this place important? Because it was in the state of mind, state that Christ also walked in. In Isaiah 53, it states that he was a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. In Matthew 9:36, we read that Jesus saw the multitude and he was filled with compassion. Compassion for who? For himself? No. Compassion for the lost, who were in despair like sheep without a shepherd. It is in this place of humility and gratitude that God begins to teach us valuable lessons. The feelings of inadequacy are not used to separate us from God, but to bring us closer to Him. You're not good enough. You can't do it on your own. You don't have the right education. You're not ready. You don't have the right tools. But are you a person who is humble? Because humility will bring a sense of gratitude, not entitlement. Your God will begin to teach you to see your world not through your own eyes, but through the eyes of Christ. I have found that God has not left me nor forsaken me. He has always surrounded me with great and amazing people who I can learn from. Learn to strategically prepare goals for the year. Learn to create these cool pictures and diagrams that explain our vision. I have learned to use His metrics, but I would have never learned these if I would have been good enough. Thank you.